So it's official. It looks like we got information on the next generation of Pokemon, Pokemon Sword and Shield. I don't think anyone expected these games to be called Pokemon Sword and Shield, but to be fair, there were rumors floating around that stated these games were going to be called Pokemon King and Queen. And King and Queen kind of do relate to Sword and Shield, so I guess they got it kind of right. I'm actually doing this video a day late. The reason I'm posting this video a day late is because I really wanted to get all my thoughts and all my opinions and see what everyone else was saying in the community of Pokemon before I posted it. That's why you're seeing my initial impressions of this game a day late. So let's go over everything in Pokemon Sword and Shield up to this time. Now when it comes to this game, they pretty much revealed some stuff about this game. They didn't show too much of this game. They pretty much showed the world itself, and then they showed some of the battles, and outside of that, that was pretty much all the information we got out of this game. Oh yeah, we also did get the new starters in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. Now when it comes to Pokemon Sword and Shield, as far as I can tell, it looks like it's going to be more of the same. This game is not going to be blowing your socks off. It's not going to be mind-blowing. It's not going to be a step away from the traditional Pokemon games. If you look at Game Freak and you look at the history of all the Pokemon games, they're just an incremental step up from the last generation of Pokemon games. I think when it comes to Game Freak, they like to play it safe. They don't like doing anything too crazy because they know the fans don't want anything too crazy. Maybe the fans do want something too crazy. I'm not sure. I guess it really depends on a person-to-person basis who you ask how much changes people would want in Pokemon. But like I said, going back to Game Freak really wants to play it safe when it comes to Pokemon. So it's probably no surprise that this game, if you look at it as of right now, it looks like it's going to be more of the same Pokemon you played for years. And I guess I'm okay with that because I haven't played a mainline Pokemon game since X and Y. I think that was Gen 6, and then I missed all of the generations on the DS. So I played the first 3 Pokemon games, and then I played the 6th gen, and then I haven't played a Pokemon game since then. So it's been quite some time since I played a mainline Pokemon game, and I think I might be ready to jump into the next generation of Pokemon. Now the biggest change with Pokemon Sword and Shield have to be the environment. The environment look like they're going to be a big step up from Pokemon Sun and Moon. You can't really compare this game to Let's Go because Let's Go is pretty much a remake, but I guess again it is technically a Pokemon game, and if you've been playing a lot of Pokemon Let's Go, you may actually end up jumping into this next, so this may be your next game after Let's Go. And if you're playing Let's Go, maybe you wanted something a little bit more in terms of the graphics, in terms of a next generation Pokemon. And honestly, from what I'm seeing from this game does look like it's going to be a big step up from Let's Go. It looks like this actually will feel like a console quality game, and honestly, from what I saw from the trailer reveal of these next generation Pokemon games, I'm absolutely okay with what they're doing with these games, at least graphically. Yes, some people may have wanted this to be a little bit more realistic, but I think Pokemon's always been a game that's been traditionally cartoony, so they wanted to keep the vibe of Pokemon, and of course this does fit the Pokemon vibe, and I'm liking everything about this aesthetics of the game. I like everything. I think the game does look like a gorgeous game. I love the fact we can go through pretty good grassy areas, caves, we also have cities to go through, we also have snowy areas to go through, and on top of that, I think this region's based off of the UK or Europe, and a lot of people were talking about that, and I definitely get that vibe as well, because you can see one of the girls in the game, your starter wears like that hat from like the UK or whatever. That really does feel the vibe, so I can see where this region is based off of. I think this region is called the Galar region. Correct me if I am wrong. I did some research on this, but I can't remember every single thing, but yes, I think it's called the Galar region, and from what I'm seeing, I'm okay with this region. One thing I am kind of disappointed as a whole with Pokemon Sword and Shield is the fact that it looks like it's going to be more of the same. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but that's not necessarily a good thing either, because for me personally, that's kind of the reason why I stopped playing Pokemon games, because it was the same loop. Catch Pokemon, go to another gym. Catch Pokemon, go to another gym. It is still a cool concept, and there's not too many games like Pokemon. Pokemon is its own thing, and I get why a lot of people love Pokemon. They love the fact that there's new Pokemon to catch. Of course, with this game, we're going to have more Pokemon to catch. It does kind of suck in the trailer. We didn't get any new Pokemon shown off in the trailer. We only got the first 3 starters of the game. I would at least like to see a couple more Pokemon maybe thrown in really quickly into them, even if they didn't talk about them. Maybe they were in the background for just a quick second. It would have been cool to see what type of new Pokemon were in this, but I guess they don't want to spoil too much about the game, and we do have to realize E3 is coming up, and more Nintendo Directs are coming up, and of course they want to save more information for those type of events like E3 and the new Nintendo Directs, and maybe Pokemon exclusive Directs down the road, so I can see why they didn't want to show off too much in this Direct. But yeah, it looks like they are going to be playing it safe with the next generation of Pokemon. It doesn't look like they're going to be doing anything too crazy, and that may disappoint some people. I know for a long time, me personally, maybe some people disagree or agree, but these are just my thoughts. Personally, for me, I kind of wanted this game to be an open world, like MMO type thing, but I don't think it's going to be an open world MMO type deal where we're playing with people online in the same world instead of having those NPCs in the world, because, well, like I said, it's Game Freak, and Game Freak always plays it safe when it comes to Pokemon. But what I'm looking at here with this game, it looks like it is going to be a solid experience, but to be honest, we still need more information on Pokemon Sword and Shield. I think it's a little bit too early to say my full entire thoughts on this game since we have little to no information. We pretty much just got the world, and then we pretty much got the 3 starters, and that was pretty much it about this game. They did actually show some battles off, and the battles of this game actually look like Let's Go battles, so they don't look like they're going to be too more graphically powered than the Let's Go battles in Pokemon Let's Go in terms of like the battles and in terms of like the way the Pokemon look. I think the Pokemon in this game and the battles may look slightly better than Pokemon Let's Go, but they don't look too different, but it's not that big a deal that it might look similar in terms of the battle mechanics and in terms of the actual Pokemon, the way the Pokemon actually look in this game, the 3D models, because, well, the aesthetics of the world look absolutely fantastic, and like I said, it does look like a gorgeous thing. One thing I'm not too big of a fan of, even though I didn't play Pokemon Let's Go, I did try Pokemon Let's Go a little bit, but one thing I will have to agree with some people is I'm not really a fan anymore of the random encounters in the wild. So you can see from the trailer, the Pokemon trainer is going in the wild, and it looks like random encounters are back instead of having the Pokemon on the overworld. You may remember from Pokemon Let's Go where the Pokemon are actually walking around the world, and then you can skip them and things like that. The reason I'm more of a fan of that compared to random encounters is because random encounters get really annoying after a while. You just want to skip battles if you're not grinding and things like that. And on top of that, I do agree with a lot of people. It makes the world feel more alive, and that was something that was very awesome to see the Pokemon walking around in the world. I wish they would have went with that for this Pokemon game. Some people out there were actually saying that it kind of does feel like a step backwards compared to Pokemon Let's Go. I know a lot of the mechanics in Pokemon Let's Go were meant to be for more casual fans and more of the people who played Pokemon Go and things like that, but honestly, that's one mechanic I wish would have stayed in the series. Some people are saying that it's too early to tell because maybe they don't have those renders ready for the game, but if you ask me personally, I think that the random encounters are going to be back because you look at Game Freak as a whole. Like I said, what do? They're known to keep everything the same for many generations. They like to play it safe, so I don't see why they would want to take some Pokemon Let's Go mechanics and throw them into the mainline games. I think they want to keep this its own separate thing, so I don't think, I think random encounters are going to be back. Is it a deal breaker? No, it's not a deal breaker that random encounters are back in Pokemon, but it does kind of suck for me personally after playing a little bit of Pokemon Let's Go. I wish that was back. It's really just a personal preference whether you like random encounters or whether you like Pokemon being in the overworld, so I can't really, so it's pretty much what I'm saying is it's a personal preference, but for me, that's what I like when it comes to the random encounters in Pokemon. One thing I did notice with this game is it looks like some of the environments or some of the world's going to be more open-esque. Is this going to be a true open world game? No, most likely it's not going to be a true open world game. The reason I say that is because in some of the footage you can see that it looks like the camera is going to be fixed again, and that's how all the Pokemon games been. All the Pokemon games had a fixed camera. You can see as the Pokemon trainer is going over the bridge, it looks like the camera is going to be a fixed camera. I wonder how much control of the camera are we going to have in this game? Are we going to have any, like a third, like an open world game? Are we going to have no camera control? It looks like we could possibly have some open world control when it comes to the camera, because it looks like some of these environments are bigger, but it looks like it's going to be a fixed camera again. Of course, that's really not a big deal, but I wish they would move towards closer of an open world Pokemon game, at least bigger scope and a controllable camera, that would actually be cool. But that's not enough to say this game is not good or anything like that. There's just some stuff I do want them to evolve over the years. That's kind of why I stopped playing Pokemon, because it just felt way too similar to itself. And it looks like they're doing some pretty good things with this game, but again, we need to see more information about this game. Now let's talk about the starters, because I really didn't talk about the starters of Pokemon Sword and Shield. What do I think of these starters? Honestly, if you ask me, I've given it a lot of thought since yesterday, and here's my opinions on the next generation of the starters in this Pokemon game. Honestly, for me personally, it varies again from person to person. You can let me know your thoughts down in the description, down in the comments below. But me personally, I'm not really a big fan of these new Pokemon. I think some of these Pokemon just don't look that good. I'm not going to even try to remember the names. I didn't write them down, to be honest, but you guys, if you're Pokemon fans, you already know what the names of the Pokemon are. So there's one that's like a bunny. I don't like the bunny one. That's supposed to be the fire type. The water one is actually super cool because it's invisible and it looks really cute. I can't remember the grass one. The grass one looks okay. The only one I really care about in this one personally is either the grass one or the water one. The one I'm leaning more toward in this one, if I do end up getting it, getting the game, I am ending up leaning towards more the grass starter, the water starter, because the water starter in this game looks absolutely adorable, and on top of that, it is mysterious, and it looks like it's sad or something. It's in the water, it can turn invisible, it looks like a really cool Pokemon, and the grass one looks really cool as well. But something about the water one, for me personally, makes this really interesting fact that I might go with the water starter in this game. But yeah, pretty much when I saw this trailer, I was like, yep, it's pretty much going to be more Pokemon, more of the same. What am I expecting out of this game? I was expecting a big open world 3D game. I guess also there was these rumors floating around a little while ago that suggest this would be as big as like Breath of the Wild and things like that. But come on, let's be honest. You know those rumors were definitely a lie. This thing's not going to be big as Breath of the Wild. Still, we still have a lot more information. I'm getting ahead of myself because, like I said, these are just early stages. We barely got any information on the game. I'm just basing it off this one trailer, and it's not really good to base everything off this one trailer, so we'll have to wait and see until more information comes out to see actually how big is this game going to be, how much open worldness is this going to be, what type of mechanics they're going to throw in the game. I do know for a factor, most likely they're not going to throw the Pokemon throwing aspects in this game. That's something I did want to touch on. I'm not a big fan of the Pokemon throwing mechanics in Let's Go. I actually think they're garbage. They're kind of gimmicky. They're kind of finicky. Do they work? Yes, they do work, and they do work pretty well, but honestly, they're just not that great if you ask me, and I did try them out before, and I don't like them. But of course, we all know that's not coming back, and I'm glad that's never coming back, hopefully, because I hated the motion control throwing the Pokeball. That was absolutely clunky, and it did kind of suck. So anyway, that's pretty much my thoughts on Pokemon Let's Go. Excuse me, I keep wanting to call these Let's Go. Why am I calling this game Let's Go? I guess I just had Let's Go on my mind for some reason. But Pokemon Sword and Shield, that's pretty much all my thoughts and opinions on the new Pokemon Gen 8 Sword and Shield. Anyway, guys, this is Wayne from MyTech News, signing out.